Mike, are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
I can see the time is on.
You are almost to the start, right?
Yeah.
Can we give the ones who are missing a few more minutes, or should we just start talking and keep the pace going?
We should give them a few minutes. 5.
Good evening, Elvin.
Good evening, Thomas. How are you?
I'm happy to see you again.
Great. Good to be here again as well.
All right. I don't want to call somebody iPhone, but how are you, iPhone? Oh, the name has changed. Okay, we're good. Doreen, good evening.
Good evening. Good
How are you
evening.
doing
Can you hear
today?
me?
Yes, we can hear you
I'm
clearly.
good. I'm good. How
All
are
right.
you?
Good, very nice. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
All right, for the benefit of the ones who have come here, I think we should start, Michael.
All right.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third module on Introduction to Business Plans in the Agricultural Sector. My name is Thomas Kimani, and I'm assisted by Michael Okech. And today we are going to start hammering the details of what we've been preparing for in the last 3 sessions. From earlier communications, do you have a copy of the one-pager business plan, the one we want to go filling out? We want to be as practical as possible in the little time that allows. Did you get that template? One is a guide and one is a template. All right. So by silence, I'm affirming everybody we are on the same page. And just to juggle our minds a little bit, we started our first session by looking at the importance of validating your business model. Who can remember what the importance of validating the business model was? Because this forms the basis of eventually creating a business plan that is sustainable and that will sell to the audience. Who remembers that part? Maybe Michael, you can juggle our memories a little bit.
Working now.
Is someone talking?
It's working, yeah.
Didn't get you. Kindly repeat who was talking.
There's a person with the iPhone. All right, Michael, just jog our memories a bit on the importance of validating a business plan model, about the business model. It was in the first sequence of the training, first session.
Okay, give me a minute. Okay, so the importance of the benefits of business model validation, right?
The importance, yes.
Okay.
The benefits,
So
yeah.
benefits. We talked of innovation opportunities that validation often reveals opportunities for innovating and making improvements, like maybe bringing in new ideas and keep your business ahead of your competitors. We also mentioned reducing risk, that business model validation or a business model canvas can help you identify potential challenges that may exist early on in the business, and then it allows you to prepare and mitigate potential risks that may arise before you get the investing or the investment resources that are coming in later on. We also learned that it can help you to make your product or service align with the real market demand, meaning it makes your business to be market fit. We also learned that it can also help you have a stronger competitive position in regards to the market and your competitors. So by validating your business model, you can get insights into your competition. You all know this information from your different rivals, and then you can know how to determine and differentiate yourself from competition. The final one was long-term viability. We learned that businesses that have validated models, they are less likely to experience market failures or shocks because they have a solid foundation and are built on a real market understanding. So those are the 5 benefits of business model validation that I had mentioned.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. From understanding the benefits of the validating the business model, we went to understand how to actually validate the business model. And that's where we employed the business model canvas, which puts the 9 different aspects of your business into perspective. And you can see how each of them associate with each other towards creating a valid business model. And then in the last part of the validation exercise, we asked ourselves, what if I go through all this and I realize that my business model is not valid? We went ahead and asked ourselves, we need to get information that shows us exactly where the business model has failed, and then it allows us to pivot into a different sector that is more viable and sustainable. In the second session, we introduced the concept of a business plan. Is there anybody who'd like to share what they're understanding what a business plan is, so that we are all on the same page? Anybody want to try? Good morning, good afternoon, Dominic.
Hello, how are you?
How are you? How are you today?
Sorry, I was on mute. I'm fine. I'm fine. How is everything over there, Thomas?
Everything is fine. Where are you reaching us from today, Dominic?
I'm reaching you from Zimbabwe.
Good. I'm looking for Zimbabweans. There are a lot of lessons they can teach us today.
Okay.
So get ready.
That's good.
All right. So from our last session, I don't think you spoke in the last session, but what did you understand a business plan is? Just in your own words. There is no right and there is no wrong. It's just in your own words, just so that we also realize that this is not something set in stone. It's our own understanding and how we deliver it. What is your understanding of what a business plan in maybe 2 lines is?
Okay. My understanding of a business plan is that we defined it as the solution to our problem, because initially we have got our business model and where we are saying this is what we want to do, and we have got some problem that we want to solve or some pain points. So how we are actually going to turn this now into reality. So the solution to that problem, that's my understanding of a business plan.
Thank you. Very concise and direct, and in very few words. It's the pain points of the clients or your customers whom you're addressing, and in the hopes that as you're addressing that, it will add value to your bottom line. So a business plan now can be broken down into a summary of the idea, the solution, and it also measures what this solution will entail. And then it also demonstrates the viability of the solution you're proposing. The next thing we spoke about is the sequence of the business plan. We had 10 key features or 10 key points that are in a business plan. We'll go deeper in them today, but anybody, just to jog our mind so that it doesn't become rocket science. Good afternoon, Mr. Mureithi. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Thomas.
How are you doing today?
I am doing good.
Oh, great to hear that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the 10 key sections of a business plan? So that we just align ourselves with today's movements.
Yeah, maybe I can try to recall some of them.
No problem.
Yeah, there's the executive summary.
Yes.
Which is just an overview of everything. Then there is the product, which you describe the product. There's also the description of the company. There's also the organization of your company, like the structures. There is also the financial aspects, the financial records and the like. And there's the operations of the company. And there's the risk management aspect. There's also the industry. I think the overview of the industry where you are playing in as a business. There's an appendix. Yeah, I think those ones I can just recall them off it.
All right, you're at 95%. You're doing great.
Thank you.
So in this process, what have you done for yourself? Have you started putting them together?
Yeah, it's just at the concept phase
Okay.
because I think mine is more of a startup.
Okay.
So I just my random thoughts. So with this structure, I'm now trying to crystallize things to fit into these elements of a business plan.
All right.
Like,
And
for example, the product I am starting up into horticultural farming, mainly fruits and vegetables. And now with the description of the product, I'm trying to narrow down to some specific fruits and specific vegetables.
all right, Daniel, thank you very much. And I see
Yeah.
the fire is on. And what does
Thank
Lupita
you.
Nyong'o say? All dreams
All
are
dreams
valid.
are valid.
Great. Great.
Yes.
All dreams are valid. So you keep hammering on that dream, note it down, and at one point it will become reality. So
Yeah, sure.
we dealt with the sequence, and then we also talked about challenges in writing a business plan. And this is what brings most of us to this table. You have an opportunity to present your business plan somewhere, and you run into some common challenges that hamper your efforts to complete the business plan in the time requested for. For the benefit of time, Michael, do you have the challenges of writing a business plan one-liner? Just to jog our memories. All right, I think Michael's network is a bit down. I cannot hear him. We'll just move on. So we looked at the six benefits of doing a business plan, and then we eventually ended the session.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, you're back? Okay, yeah. Give us the challenges normal people or these exceptional entrepreneurs, not normal people. Entrepreneurs are exceptional. What they normally go through, what challenges they go through when they're trying to write. What are the common challenges that have been identified?
Okay. I'd say some of them they don't have a clear goal or a milestone of how they can also achieve this goal, how they can achieve this milestone. It's not yet clear. So they may find issues writing a business plan. And perhaps another one is making financial projections. I think this is another challenge. It's either they have inaccurate data or it's maybe incomplete. Maybe the final one is they don't know the potential risks that the SME may have or may face, and they haven't yet known how to manage the potential risks.
All right.
Those are the three
All
common.
right. All right. The Zoom problem has come back, what we had in the morning, but we'll manage it. So if it shuts us down, we just log back on and we go on with our journey. Aluta, right? So most of the times when we are doing a business plan, the commonest reason for doing a business plan is because we are trying to raise funds. We are trying to convince an investor. We are trying to convince a financier, a grant maker. So most of the time when we're doing a business plan, there's a certain target we are looking at. And most of the time it is the fundraising. So we discussed a lot in depth of using a business plan as you're trying to raise funds. Anything else before we are shut down so that we can start the session? Once we get shut down, we start the official session. Any questions until there?
Just remind them to log back in if the Zoom shuts us down.
All right, same link, huh?
Same link. You can use the same link to log back in if the Zoom session shuts you down.
All right. And apologies for the technical hitch. I've been back and forth with the Zoom people, but still there's no solution that is going on. So quickly, what are the 4 main target reasons we look for when we're using a business plan to raise funds. Michael, maybe step into this for the few minutes left. Just explain to us using a business plan to raise funds.
Okay. So the four. Hello?
Yes, I can hear. The network there may be a bit sketchy, but just hang in there.
Okay. So you've asked about the
Um,
benefits of.
Yeah, why using a business plan to raise funds? There are 4 key elements that a business plans
Okay.
come into play. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. One of the core reasons it's about pitching to investors. A business plan will help you demonstrate an opportunity for investors to get in and know more about your business, and also help you to appeal to them. Another one was securing facilities from lenders. A business plan is key when presenting your business idea to these financial lenders. Another concept was assessing government grants and subsidies, just the same as accessing these facilities from lenders, the same way you can access grants using a business plan. Finally, a business plan is helpful in raising funds through partnerships or joint ventures. So the partnerships or joint ventures, normally you use a business plan to showcase the benefits of your collaboration. I think those are the main points that we captured.
Yes, when we're raising funds. But ideally, yeah, those are the main reason why we use business plans. But in retrospect, you look at a business plan as a communication. The business is your child, and the child does not have a voice. And you put your mind, you as an entrepreneur, into this child, and it speaks back to you. It speaks to you as the entrepreneur. It speaks to you, your partners. It speaks to your suppliers. It speaks to your customers. It speaks to your internal organization, your workers, your employees of different levels, right? And of course, again, now they've said it speaks to your financials and external partners. I'll have to take exception to the grants. In some developed countries, there are times farmers are subsidized in production. This subsidy helps the farmers move their produce for the good of the nation. So you'll find in more advanced countries, they subsidize their farmers. But how will the government know what you're doing? It is through now your business plan. It has to align to the government's goals. So that's why this also speaks to the grant makers. We'll be tuned off in the next 4 minutes. Can I stop this session and restart again with your permission? So that we start the main session because the night is moving pretty fast.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. All on board? All right. Anybody now who understands what return on investment may mean in your own words? Michael, do you have an idea, return on investment? Or somebody wants to say something? Sure, go ahead.
I can try.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe there's a point at which your sales have recouped all the expenses you have had in the business, or what you have put as an investment in the business, and now you have made your sales and the two are tallying.
Thank you. Thank you, Bwana Mureithi. Yes, the investors coming in would like to know when they can exit your business with profit. So it's important for you to kind of bring this out in your business plan, just to show them, look, you'll put in this money, but by this stage, you'll have recouped your money with a profit and you can leave. They're not coming in there because they are watching after their interest. So you have to show how they're going to make their investment back, right? So in summary, with the financial plan is you have to develop a comprehensive financial plan. Again, I said 3 years history, 3 years focus, but maybe you're a startup. Maybe you're a startup, you may not have the 3 years history, but an entrepreneur works with what they have, right? You work with what you have. Yes, you don't have 3 years. Nobody was born wearing shoes. So you work with what you have, but the projections now forward have to be realistic, in touch with what's going on. So the projections are for your income statement, your cash flow, your cash flow forecasts, and your break-even analysis, and of course the balance sheets, to show that at no time are you owned by outsiders. You remember the formula: assets equal capital plus liability. So these assets of your business, who owns more of them? Are they the liability people, or is it the owner's capital? That's a very important balance. It shows how much skin you have in the game. It's a delicate balance, but it's possible. Any questions? Financial is why most people want to raise money. And if we don't cover this well, we're not going to be doing this session justice. Any questions on the financials?
Hello, Mr. Tom, do you want to say anything? Tom Nyirenda. Okay, or kindly mute your audio.
Yes, maybe I have a question.
Oh, sure, go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, on what if you don't have the technical knowledge of writing these income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements? Do you engage professionals in that area, or how can you go around it?
Yes, it's always the easier path is to engage professionals. That's the easiest path. But my advice is, yes, engage professionals. But even as you're engaging these professionals, the business is yours. The professionals will work towards the end you're looking for. And if you don't know what the professionals have to hit at, it would be hard. They just say we've done the work, and maybe they do a very shoddy work for you. So we always recommend anything you feel is out of your depth, you can always engage professionals, but most importantly, know what these professionals are doing. Anybody with similar experience would like to share? Challenges with the financials? Because this is why a lot of people give up and go back home, as much as they have the dream. All right. So I'll jump into risk now if nobody has. Financial is everything in this business, and if you understand your numbers, every other thing will flow. And if you don't have the right skills, at least understand the basics. So even if you engage somebody, you know what they're doing. Next is risk management. Again, we have spoken about risk so many times. We have, first of all, to identify and list the potential risks. And I kind of look at it in this way, and just to put in practical terms. The ladies today have been very silent. Charlene, are you there? Are you still with us? Charlene Emery?
Good day.
How are you?
I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm doing fine.
You're
Well,
doing fine. Are you able to
yeah.
speak, or should we just accept your greetings and move on?
No, well, I like to speak a little bit on the risk management because I think that is one of my major concerns.
Okay.
Because I do have some critical larceny and dealing with it on and on occasions. Sometimes it can cause losses.
Charlene, are you still with us? I can hear you. So maybe I can ask you a few questions, Charlene. What business are you in?
Do egg production and fruits and vegetables.
Okay. So in your business, have you identified potential risks? Maybe just share with us just 2 risks you have identified.
Well, one is criminal larceny I have to deal with. Criminal larceny.
Oh, larceny, theft.
Yeah.
All right. You plant and somebody comes to harvest for you.
Yes, because it's not close to my where I live.
Okay. Yeah, theft and larceny is a global problem. So that's a potential risk that you have in your business. Now,
Yeah.
in a grade of 1 to 10, 10 being a very high risk and 1 being a very low risk, where do you place theft and larceny?
About 4.
4.
Yeah.
4. So it is a potential risk, but it's not your biggest risk. Now, on the other side, when you assess its impact on your business, does it have high impact or very low impact?
It has a high impact because when the thief, they normally sometimes take nearly everything.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm just taking you through how to quickly evaluate the importance of risk, the critical risks, and then you know how to address them. Now that you have assessed this, it is, say, a low potential risk, but it is there. Low potential risk, but it has a very high impact when it happens to your business, right? So how do you think you can mitigate this risk? Understanding your challenges.
Right now, I am securing funding for fencing.
Fencing.
For enclosing the property.
Okay. So Charlene has a solution to mitigate this risk. And by fencing, what will you reduce? The potential risk or the impact on your business? Or both? Both. Now, exactly how you have put it is how you put it in your business plan. This is my risk. This is the potential impact. This is the probability of it hitting my business. And this is the potential impact. And this is how I am mitigating risk, right? Because no business in the world is risk-free. No business in the world is risk-free. So the whole idea is clearly identify the risks, appreciate them, the impact, and know how much effort you need to put in mitigating risk. Somebody else wanted to say something on risk. Maybe you can share. This is interesting. Anybody want to share on what just one major risk in their business and then how they mitigate it? Katana, you are trying to say something. Mr. Katana, is Katana?
Still more unmuted for a while. Do you have anything to say?
Tom Mazaza.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm also into fruits and vegetables as a farmer. So one of the risks would be the risk of pest and disease. So the impact can be great. I'll put them at maybe 7 out of 10. The mitigation would be scouting, doing scouts, like early morning you go around your farm, like on selected spots, and then you check your crops. If it's about pests, then you check maybe underside of the leaves for any infestation of the pests, and then you identify what sort of pest that is attacking your crops, and therefore you apply the necessary remedy to reduce the multiplication of the pests or eliminate them completely. So when you identify the actual pest, then you go for the exact solution. In case you're using agrochemicals, which are, of course, the ones that are allowed on the market or by the industry to be less poisonous or hazardous to human health and otherwise, then you use them. The other risk would be the Mother Nature. You're talking of droughts or harsh weather. In case of drought, then you have to have maybe stuff like boreholes in place if you have the resources to drill one, or maybe also have reservoirs, water tanks, etc. In short, I think that's what I wanted to contribute. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Tom. And here the thing is just getting the audience to appreciate risk exists, and any investor will understand risk exists. It's not the trouble you're getting into, but the trouble, how you get out of the trouble. That's most important. And how you get out of the trouble has to be in a way that makes business sense. Because if you have a very small operation and you have to dig a borehole, that will immediately tell this investor, this person is not using the resources in an optimized manner. So you have to clearly understand the risk, grade it, and know what kind of resources would be deployed to take care of the risk. We're trying to attract the investor, and everybody wants to invest where there is minimal risk. Anybody else want to share on risk before I move to the appendices? So exactly how we thought about it in this session, write it down exactly that way. This is the risk. This is the probability out of 10 for this risk happening. And this is the impact if it happens to my business, which justifies the type of resources you deploy to addressing the risk. Finally, the appendices. We talk about the appendices now as what is information which is too bulky to write or to include in the main body of the business plan. This is a support document. Maybe when you're describing your company and you say it is legally registered this way, you maybe put a certificate of registration in the appendix section for somebody to refer and get deeper details. Resumes, you cannot put the full resume. Some people have resumes of even 100 pages. You don't want to put the whole resume there. It will make your main document too bulky and attractive. Put it back there. Any supporting documents? Yes, go ahead.
Allow me to interrupt you. There's a question from
All right.
Amarachi Noji.
Okay.
So this is the question. What if a risk which wasn't there suddenly comes up with about 8 out of 10 risk? So should I opt out of the business until I figure out what to do, or should I go ahead with the increased risk?
Thank you. First of all, Noji, congratulations for recognizing the risk. First of all, is you're awake. You have identified the risk. You're a business person. The measures you take to contain the risk, do they make business sense? It's about everything making business sense and making business sense in the long run. Entrepreneurs don't give up just because you ran into a cold or you ran into, so many challenges, so many potholes along the way. It's looking at the longer term version. So first of all, the risk is coming. Is it worth it fighting this risk or walk away? Because you're looking at the longer term version. Have I answered your question?
Yes, please, you did. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes. So I should just continue until I figure out ways to mitigate them.
First of all, does it make business sense to continue? That's a big
Because my
question.
crops were stolen.
Okay.
So I didn't really get to sell to make profit. So
Okay.
I didn't eventually sell anything. I ate the remaining. And I felt bad about it.
Okay.
So
Theft,
I don't know whether to...
Yeah, so theft, but when I look at the longer term version of your business, theft is something you can mitigate quite easily, right?
Yes.
And is there a market for your product? Maybe the theft is a validation of your business. There is demand for whatever you're producing.
Okay,
It's a
yes.
validation. They were stolen very quickly or slowly.
Gradually.
So there is indeed a market. So some of these things tell us, yes, I might be crazy getting into this, but there's value. Now I take care of the theft. But the cost of taking care of that theft, is it worth it? Because you might use all your money to take care of the theft, have a watchman or build a fence or do everything. Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
On the long run, it will be worth it. But now, I may have gradually raise funds to pick up the fence.
All right. Yeah, it's about dusting yourself and stepping forward and know, okay, I've been done this before. I'm not going down that path again. Thank you. Any
Thank
other
you
questions
so much.
on that? Yeah. All right. Let me get back to the appendix section now. Right. So again, the appendix is basically attaching support documents. What differentiates you from any other person who has just written, has just a lot of verbiage on their business plan? You support, I did a market analysis, or this market analysis is from this institution, refer to this part of the appendix, and they have signed there, or somebody can follow up. The appendix is basically just to give strength to whatever you're saying, what assumptions you made in your business plan. They're supported by the appendix. So it's just what it is, an appendage to whatever you have put together. I want now to go back to the executive summary. I'll cycle back to the Okay. Now that we have covered all these other things, we come to the executive summary. Again, like last time, like I mentioned, it should be so short and sweet. It will make somebody want to look at your document and scrutinize it deeper. And that's why we finished all these other parts, and we can summarize this and see whether it will fit in a page. Very clearly crafted. First of all, pop-up the business goal and objectives. The next thing, key elements in the business plan. This, that, and you're just picking from the other sections. Describe your target market in the sweetest words, because they'll come and read the details later. In the sweetest words, in the most attractive phrases. Target market is this, and this is my competitive advantage. And you clear on that. And then most of the times you're looking to get financial support. All that now supports, yes, because of what I have written down, I need this amount of money to invest. And this is how I am right now. I need this to invest in this to invest in this, and this will be the results. Come and invest in my business. I make it sound easy, but it is easier when you're in the pitch. It is easier than I'm making it sound, right? Many people say it is difficult, but it's actually easy if you believe in yourself, right? So snapshots, mission and objectives, unique selling proposition, market, financial needs. Make it pretty sweet. By the time the elevator gets from the ground floor to the top floor of the building, you have locked the deal and they want to look at your document deeper. Any questions on that so far? I now want to go into the details of where we get the information for all these pretty things we have spoken about. Any questions until there?
We have no question in the chat box at the moment.
Okay. So again, imagine you'll have to review each component and fill each section. I hope you're doing that because I'd asked you to print this earlier. So go on reviewing it. It is an exercise. It's not in futility. Even if tonight you have put down 20% of what we have spoken about today, the journey has started, right? So just go on considering business is not a one size fits all. Everybody is unique. Everybody is unique. So there are a few videos out there that can be added to this. You will look at them. So I want to look at, now that we have identified all these places, we have to identify the sources of information for business plan writing. Again, we said, if you put in information that is strong, that is supported, it makes your business plan so much more solid, right? So the sources, first of all, have to be credible and have some form of accuracy. And in this age of the internet, there's so much information out there. But how do you know which to believe and which one not to believe? Which one do you believe and which one not to believe? First of all, like academic journals, they are written by people who have researched and people who have been validated by their peers. That's a lot of credibility, is that. You're in the industry. There are those peers you've worked with, local associations you engage with. They will kind of show you the trends and you can use them as a reference. This association of ours has so many members and they're doing A, B, C, D. And this is the information we have. There's a disease coming. They have combined together to take care of this disease. Online databases and blogs, anything online is not quite credible because there are also fakes out there. I don't know why somebody would go and fake a whole database, but yes, somebody is doing that business to fake things out there. So again, the credibility of the information, very important. Social media is good. Tom, you're doing a great job on your social media. Do you get a lot of reviews? Yeah, Tom has a website and I think, yes?
Not too many. I would say I haven't been very, very proactive in terms of propping up the numbers, but I intend to. Yeah, otherwise, yes, I do get some, like when I'm using my statuses on WhatsApp, like for
Okay.
business, sales, yes. But
Mm.
I want to, maximize on the Facebook page and the Facebook group. I know there's potential, a huge
Yeah.
potential there.
Yeah, you'll get to connect with people. Yeah. And then, of course, there's the traditional trade fairs and conferences. You get a lot of information from this, which is credible. Because now in the trade fairs, you're meeting physical people and you can connect in one or the other. Even this is one forum where some people have already said making business. So where do we get the information from? I'll again jump over the executive summary, but I'll fly over everything else. First of all, there is internal company data. As a habit, make it a habit to always maintain a level of data in your company. It will come handy in the future. It may sound mundane. How long the vehicle took to get things from the market and come back. How rough the road is. Who are the good employees who have sent resumes to me? All that is important information. Keep it somewhere. Keep it somewhere. The market research reports and industry analysis. Very important, but from credible sources again. The most important, customer feedback. And hopefully there, you are addressing the right customer. Your customer will tell you, so and so, the mangoes you've been providing to me are having this challenge. I'll be taking less because of this challenge. That feedback, and you improve on that. Testimonials, also and so, your mangoes were so sweet. And this is now what you use to even tell the audience of your business plan. This customer has said my mangoes are so sweet, right? Testimonials, industry trends. Keep this. You can see clipping the newspaper. There is a lot of demand for mangoes because this is happening. It's now fashionable. It's the new swag. Everybody wants to eat mangoes. Focus from reputable sources, right? Again, the source of information in this internet age remains very, very crucial. And then your team is also a key stakeholder in providing the information. Your salespeople, your employees on the farm, they have seen there's something going on the farm or in the field or in the production process. The stakeholders, they are towards your success. I don't think there's any employee who wants to see your company going down, and that is where they get their bread and butter. Listen to them, but you are the final decision maker. Company records. We've talked about the records issued by the government. These are good source of information to support what you add maybe in the appendix. The website, the marketing material, all these add up to creating a credible company. A company which has been in existence most likely has flyers, most likely has all these financial statements, performance reports, interviews you have conducted, market research data. I've gotten that warning again, but this is the last time we are switching. Michael, just alert me when we take too long. So,
all right.
Market research data about the company, industry, and market position. Always understand where you are. All this, like you go to a fair and you get awards. That's your peers recognizing your excellence in production. That is something valuable you put in your business plan. We have won so many awards in this trade fair. That gives your company a lot of credibility. So that's information you put as you're describing your company. We now have 5 awards in this, 1 award in this, second runners up. It shows you're a player, you're a serious player in the market. Market analysis. This one gets very, very tricky. When we look at demographics, many countries do their census collection maybe every 10 years. Some never do it or they do a shoddy job. But again, once that census report comes out, don't just leave it for the government. That is where you also go and gain a lot of insights on where things are heading, right? And many government offices are more than willing to share with you this information. Market research and report studies. There are people out there, students out there, maybe they come for an attachment in your organization. They develop all these reports, right? Take advantage of the reports, the studies, you have hosted them. That's their way of giving back. Might not be up there yet, but that's their way of giving back. Competitors. Again, I talked about the trade fairs and the other places where you can be rated against your competitors. And you'll hear what's happening in the grapevine. This is what the competition is doing. This is what they're gaining. That's what's happening. Industry, you can tell where a whole industry is heading. Maybe there are new compliance issues that have come to the fore. Like there's a time in Kenya we had a challenge with export of horticultural produce because of the chemicals we use on the crops. And it was more of a case of post-harvest interval application of the medicines. The industry publications tell you this is going on. Let's take care of this. And we are ahead of this, we are ahead of the risks, and we are good to go. Surveys and focus groups. You keep meeting all these peers. They are competitors, but yes, you'll share one or two things. Trade associations, you're moving as a group to maybe reach a certain market. Chamber of Commerce and the others. Industry experts. These are important sources of market analysis. Product description. You're the master of your domain. You should be able to describe your product even if you're woken up from deep sleep, right? And again, as you're understanding the technical aspects of your product or service, you go on finessing it as the customers give you feedback and reviews. Or your product, sometimes you don't know something about your product and your customers tell you about it and you say, wow, it's been in front of me all this time. Your competitor's product information, you can borrow a few snippets. They've said the mangoes have butterfat content of X amount. Maybe even mine have butter. Maybe I need to research it. And that's what the customers are looking for. All these help you describe your product better. And finally, patent and trademark information. Again, there are some of us here who deal with patents and trademarks. There's a process you have patented just to bar too much entry of competition into that trade as you recoup your investments. All this needs to be come out, and it shows the investor coming in, okay, I'm going to get my return on investment in 3 years. How long does your patent hold? 5 years. Okay, I am covered as I recoup, so I'll invest. That information needs to be captured there very well. Supplier and vendor details. This supplier is the one who gives me this product which I process or I sell further this way. Is the supplier a good person? Is he of good reputation? Yes, no, maybe. That's another discussion. Vendors. You're associated with certain vendors for your product. Certain supermarkets already carry your products. There's nothing good like being validated by a supermarket, a national chain. It shows everybody, oh, my product goes to this, so it's good. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. So all this information has to be finessed and it comes out. These are sources of where you get information on product description. Marketing and sales plan. Again, this one is internal information for consumption internally. What research have you done? Maybe you started your business, you walked around and gone to the market and seen this product has some traction. This is the data to support this. But is it valid? Is it me who took the data or there's somebody else who can validate this? Marketing strategies. We talked about a marketing plan. This information for the strategies, has it been used by somebody else or you're the one innovating it? Innovating is okay in business. It's about making your product move. Have you innovated a strategy? Have you documented how you went the thinking through it? Again, what Dominic was doing in 2004 is not the way he's doing things now. He has changed quite a bit. And he'll tell you, yes, I said marketing this way, now I'm marketing this way. Things have changed. COVID came. We could meet people face to face, but now suddenly it's now Zoom. And now our interactions have been changed. Sales reports and projections. This is an internal document. And I don't see anybody who wants to cheat on their sales report. Everybody wants to project positive sales. Nobody wants to undercut their sales unless in some places when they're dealing with government, they interfere in the sales report. But sales reports which you keep and you make sure they are authenticated internally, maybe you have an internal audit process. It will help you make the projections of the sales reports. So that's a source of marketing and sales data. The projections from items you're already collecting as a company, but make sure you have the right systems to collect this information. Customer acquisition and retention, unless you're very keen, this is my customer. How much did it cost me to acquire this customer? Maybe a lot of knocks without on his door, I maybe paid, but these are small details. And then advertising and promotion material. This is data which will tell you this. When I give out flyers, my sales increased by this much. I spend this much on flyers. This is how much my sales have increased. I spend this much on this media. This is how much it has pushed my sales. And if you are active, you can continue documenting this information actively. Organization and management. Anybody coming to work for your organization, many times they come with a resume or a CV, and this is information which you'll now use in your business plan. Sometimes you may need to tweak the CV a bit to fit into the target market. Maybe they are looking for somebody expertise in agronomy. So you might bring out the agronomy aspects of this person more than maybe the teaching background the person has. So it's just a matter of adjustment. But resumes is key, and this is a real life person. They can go and interview questions if they ever need to find out more. The organization chart, I said, this is something you develop, right? This is something you develop. It's not written in stone. An organization chart has to have so many levels, so many positions, but it is your vision as an entrepreneur where you have your organization chart. Michael, we're about to be kicked out again.
We have less than a minute.
Okay, can we just log off and start exactly at this point? We have, I think, less than 20 minutes to go. Let's log off and then we start at this point. Thank you. All right, I think we're almost full house again, and apologies for that. That's the last time we're doing that. I was talking about the organizational chart. This is something you've created on yourself just to give your organization some semblance of order, reporting structure, hierarchy, who reports to who, where, and what roles they're doing. You need to have clear job descriptions just to avoid overlapping roles or creating redundancies within your organization. Because sometimes you can have too many positions open and the work is not being done because people are all focused on what is not really their described job. So we talk about employee records, right? Qualifications. Some organizations have employee files they maintain. This is when my employees went on leave. This is maybe their family status. This is especially the ones dealing in horticulture. Sometimes you may need to take your people for health checkups because they're dealing with food. You also maintain that record there just to show you're in compliance. You're complying with statutory deductions for your employees. It's also in file. You're promoting because you have seen the qualification of these employees. All that is somewhere in your as to help you put information into your business plan. Now, when it comes to industry benchmarks, again, in very competitive industries, you need employees who know what they are doing and who have been verified by the market. Somebody saying something?
No, I think the participant wanted to make.
All right, I got them. Okay. We don't want anybody's voice not to be heard or ask a question. So the benchmarks of key management position. Why is this information necessary? Sometimes to attract an investor into your organization, you need a star player who is recognized because of their prowess in a certain skill. So this information becomes very crucial to attract funding. This is the best agronomist in the region, and he's working for your organization. Wow. I think our money is in safe hands. So that's why we need this information under organization and management. Operation and production. Here again, we will work with a lot of best practices. Are you following Global Gap? And how have you documented your success with Global Gap? Are you reliable? Do you have an efficient operation? I remember who told us about being known for delivery timelines. Was it Dominic? That's one of his key values of his business. Delivery timelines are tight. He keeps them, right? But you have data to back this up. The customer wanted you yesterday, you're there yesterday, right? But you have to have data backing it up, because sometimes you can just speak, but it's just for the sake of speaking. So data. And this is data that you internally generate. Technology advancements, right? 20 years ago, internet was a fantasy. Now there's internet in every little nook and cranny at fantastic speeds, right? A lot of things are changing, right? But now with this industry, a lot of things also become worse off because of what we're exposed to. And that's why now it exposes you to different aspects of your business, which you need to watch even deeper. You can tell an investor, I have 10 acres of land. And he goes on the satellite, and even before he gets on the land, before he gets physically on the ground, he has said, no, my friend, your land is only 5 acres, right? But you have to document this very carefully because things have changed. Health and safety. In horticulture, we are dealing with food. And you know what food can do when it is not handled well, right? So you have to have all these records to show that your farm was audited for health and safety standards. Your employees went on checks for health and safety compliance. This group has ascertained that your product is chemical free or within admissible levels of chemicals. So that has to constantly be kept under operation record. And this will help strengthen your business plan. Now, a thing I don't quite advocate for, but is a necessary evil. Look at what your competitors are doing. Sometimes it's good to, throw your eyes a little bit. This is the new fashion. Why are they doing it? Ask yourself, does it make business sense? Is it adding efficiency? Will it make me be left behind by a new development that is coming on board? Also see what the competition is doing. Just a sneak peek, but it shouldn't be your motivating goal. Again, back to financials. When you talk about financials, it's normally a very sticky subject, right? Again, we spoke about very clear financial projections and funding needs. You have to be very, very specific on your funding needs. You don't want $10 for what? Very, very specific. Because if you're not specific, money can be expensive. You need $10, but your project needs $9. What happens to this extra dollar and you're paying interest on it? The projections have to be on point. And that's what leads into the details of this funding. It has to be for specific purposes. Because when you're talking of funding also, there's some funding which you use for long-term projects, capital projects, and their terms are different. There are some fundings which are just for cash flow cover, maybe an overdraft from the bank, cash flow cover because in 2 weeks you'll get paid, in 1 week you'll get paid. No need to go into complex capital borrowing. And it has its own terms. It's more expensive, but more terms. Financing options, again, same thing like I said before. There is maybe capital goods borrowing, short-term loans, long-term loans, right? And now these days, they have started having all these phone accessible loans on the phone where you go in and you get a loan quickly. But again, that's a discussion for another day. Investor presentation. The person you're presenting this business plan to, they spoke to you. This is what I'm looking for. You have to incorporate what they're looking for into answering them back what they're looking for. You cannot speak to me in Kiswahili and then I respond to you in English and yet you do not understand English. We have to be on the same wavelength. So the presentation and their pitch material should also guide on how we present the financial material, right? So that we can be on the same language. And of course, they're the universal, the statements you present. I said 3 years back, 3 years forward. That's important. But if you don't have 3 years back, present the vision. Sometimes some companies have been funded without anything because of the vision and the tenacity they had to convince the investors to invest. Market research data. You have to support, I say I'm going to sell 100 mangoes and I've been selling 10 mangoes. What advises me on this? The market research data. Is it validated by somebody independent or somebody else apart from you and your salespeople? Yes, no. Or you say my salespeople did this research and this is it. And maybe these are the contracts I have, forward contracts I have. They need my mangoes. This is their market. We have signed a contract. They're ready to pay as soon as I deliver. So that builds into the sales promotion and also advises on your pricing strategy. I'd spoken about expense estimates. Again, this is data you put, a source of data you put into your business plan. And as we conclude on the financial needs, we talk about the economic and industrial trends that impact financial projections. You have to understand, like earlier we talked about risk of weather, we talked about risk of theft. All these have to be, if you're a place where the economy is very down, you may be very highly prone to theft. Risk. In everything we have spoken, I think we have covered risk in one aspect or the other. Again, the risk we experience today is informed by a historical trend. I was robbed on a certain date. What hadn't I done? I hadn't fenced. Okay, since I fenced, is it happening anymore? No, I've mitigated that risk. Right? We talked about the other risk of weather. Maybe I'll mitigate my risk by paying to a weather service or even getting on Google and seeing weather a few months down the road so that I can plan better. And again, advice from industrial experts and consultants and legal professions. In horticulture, there are a lot of regulatory risks that exist. And it's not a bad thing. It's because horticulture, if there's a risk, a disease element or chemicals are not used well, the harm it can cause to the society is very big because they're all fresh. They're not like maize where you have a bit of leeway. Horticulture, you can destroy a whole society in a very short time, maybe because of your application. So you constantly need to show you're abiding with the legal profession, the regulatory risks, and you have that evidence. I was certified, like in Kenya, we have KEFIs who look at the quality of products you're exporting. Now, in risk also, we look at the scenario. I spoke to Amarach, we talked about your risk, and we put a few scenarios, understand the scenarios of different outcomes. Should I give up? If I give up, what will I be doing? Or I've lost an opportunity. If I go on, these are the potential outcomes. So that's risk. And you saw us explicitly doing it when we were speaking with Amarachi. As we are assessing risk, I told you about the role our employees play. This person, you have been with them, and they are for the interest of the organization prospering. Even if, God forbid, they are stealing from you, they don't want you to collapse. So it is in their best interest your organization does not collapse. So the input of employees based on their experience, you have brought in a new partner. He has different skills from what you have. Their inputs are very, very important, and it goes in developing the business plan. The appendix section doesn't have much. Again, we had said these are just supporting documents for all those things you have said from third parties. I don't know what has happened here. All those documents you have provided from third parties to support. He brought his resume. This is John. This is his resume. All the pages. The legal documents, the licenses, the permits. Oh, you have a permission to export. How long have you been exporting? These are the permits. These are the licenses, year 1, year 2, year 3. I've been exporting. And these are maybe the sales contracts we have signed with my suppliers and vendors. We are in business, right? The market research reports, that intern who came crying to you to give them an opportunity, they left their market research report there. You can also use that, right? Industrial statistics, there are all these statistics being floated out there. That goes in the appendix. And again, contracts and agreements with customers, right? There's a supplier to show that you've indeed been buying from them. But now, again, without a market, you're not in business. If you're moving from a scenario where you're doing 10 mangoes to 100 mangoes, what will help you close that gap when it doesn't make financial sense? The contract. I have a forwards contract to supply 100 mangoes to this person. And that bridges some of the gaps that may be created when you're creating the financial projections. Until there, I don't know whether there are any questions as we wrap up.
We have a question from Elias.
Yes, Elias. I tried making Elias speak. Good, he has spoken on his own accord.
Yeah, he's asking which is the best software for keeping business records like sales revenue and making projections such as financial statements?
Okay, that's a tough question. First of all, Elias, it starts with how resourced are you? Because there are some which are quite expensive. And again, you have to tailor make to your operation. You don't want to get some very complex softwares and your operation doesn't have capacity to utilize all the features in it. First of all, you look at the resources you have. Some are even free. I can tell you an Excel is very, very powerful, but it takes a lot of work, but it depends with the size of your organization. And then you move up to the QuickBooks for financials, the Zohos, which one can I recall offhand? Which ERP system? Sage. Sage is an ERP system, enterprise resource planning system, where you put in one number and it goes distributing all that. So it depends with the resources you have and the type of business you are doing. Have I answered your question, Elias? Mike, can you see his answer? I cannot see from my end.
No, but I think he's answered. He's not yet responded.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, yes, Elias. Nice
Yes,
to
can
hear
you
you.
hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Yes, we have answered, but I was thinking if you have a software maybe which you use in a COLEAD. Which
Quality
software do you use in COLEAD?
COLEAD, I'm not very sure. I'd defer that question to the training manager, who is Gerard.
Yeah.
But a software, if you take software as a solution, you won't be doing yourself justice. What business are you in, Elias? Maybe we start from there.
It's just a small business that is mango pickle.
Mango Kiko.
This is the mango pickle.
All right. And first of all, Elias, don't use the word small. You have to speak scale into your business. Just call it a mango business. Don't use small. Don't
Yes.
put yourself down. The world is already very tough. So you say maybe instead of small, use a growing business. When you talk to your potential investor and you say small, already they look down on you.
Okay.
If you know it is small, use the word a growing business.
Thank you.
A growing business dealing in mangoes. About how many employees do you engage or how many suppliers do you engage? Now that's what determines the types of softwares you engage with. Some are free or relatively inexpensive. And it also depends with the complexity. Are you processing your mangoes? Because the more complex your processes get, there are some where you need to measure things by the grammage as you're processing. There are some where you don't need to get into intimate details. So the software can be relatively simpler. So there are a lot of softwares out there. I think I can ask Gerard to recommend a few softwares for a growing mango business. Not a small business. Nobody here has a small business. I want to believe that. It's a growing business. So I'll reach back to Gerard and get back to you shortly. You're on the WhatsApp?
Yes, I'm there.
All right. So Mike, if I forget, please nudge me. We follow up that with Gerard. All right. As I wrap up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elias.
Thank you.
As I wrap up.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike. As I wrap up, just some tips when sourcing information for a business plan. Trust of the data, the trust element of the data. And again, we are in an age of data where we have so much data out there. How do we trust it? How do we get to understand this is the right data we're looking for? Look for trends or patterns in your data set, right? Again, with data, you will see growth happening. You'll see shrinkage happening. You're harvesting 100 mangoes and suddenly you're harvesting 90, 89, 88. You can see the trend. What is causing it? Is it what Charlene told us, larceny? Or is it the weather which is bad, the mangoes are not coming out? What is happening? So the data sets, the trends will speak. And then again, don't assume correlation of two things, right? Sometimes you can think sales are going down because the market doesn't have money. Maybe sales are going down because your product is not attractive anymore. The demographics have changed. So sometimes it's not there are other issues that are underlying the situation. We always talk about learning from our past, but the past is past. So always learn to compare your current data against what happened in the past. Maybe in the past you were so good at something, but because you didn't monitor it, you didn't notice when you're going down. So this also helps us measure growth and help in the projection. In the past, I've been doing this, and this is where I am now. So this is where I'm heading based on the trend. And then look at the industry benchmarks. You might be on an industry that is on a growth trajectory. You have hit gold, but you don't know you're sitting on the gold mine. So look at your general industry, the way it's behaving, just to kind of encourage you and to see how you can move forward. And these are the main sources of information. As we wrap up, I hope you've been filling out your templates. As we wrap up, Ask yourself what steps you can take to leverage existing information to gather relevant data for your business plan. The credibility of data you put in, very important, because once it is credible and you have the right evidence that it is credible, it's more likely your business plan will succeed to address the audience it is intended to reach out to. A business plan is a living document. What you did last year may not apply this year. What you did in the COVID period may have changed a lot now. What you did before COVID may have changed a lot now. A lot of things keep changing. New investors have come into your market. New opportunities have popped up. So you have to constantly get into the habit of, look at this one page of mine. This is what I was thinking in 2020. This is what I'm thinking in 2022. This is how I want to be thinking in 2024. Just update it. Just make a habit of it. And you keep updating with the latest data. As we close, I'll ask you again to go through these videos. They're available in our COLEAD training website. Michael, you can share the link to the COLEAD training website. And
Right.
you can also just Google this on YouTube. Business life cycle. Just Google on YouTube. You'll get some insights. And with that, we can take a few final questions. I know now we are on overtime. Guys are tired, or some guys have just started their business day. A few questions. And again, I encourage you, ask questions. We are here to learn and learn from each other. We don't have all the answers, but we try. Ask your questions. Michael, any questions from your end?
Still waiting for them to ask, for our participants to ask.
Okay.
Anyone with a comment can also unmute and have something to say. If you have any takeaways since our first session, Module 1 to Module 3, you can also have a say. The floor is open. I have a comment from Elvin. Elvin is saying it's well explained and it's now giving a practical feeling. Oh, we have a question from Tom Mazaza.
All right.
Yeah, he's asking, what's the main difference between a strategic plan and a business plan?
Okay. A business plan can have a strategic plan embedded into it. A strategic plan essentially is focused on it's more drilled down. Let me put it that way. It's more drilled down, more like a knife's edge. More like a knife's edge. You're planning maybe to get into a new market, right? So you have all this in the business plan, but now there's a strategic plan which spells out step by step of how you want to get into this market. Tom, is it as clear as mud or as clear as rain?
Yeah, you've explained it well.
Saying it's well explained.
All right. And we also have Dominic, who is a consultant. Dominic, can you help answer Tom? And you might be in the same region. You you can help each other. Dominic, maybe touch on that also. Strategic plan versus a business plan from your own understanding.
I think you answered it very well, Thomas, because with a strategic plan, you have got a specific strategy that you want to achieve. And then you are having a plan to achieve that specific strategy. And then you now have the overall business plan. And like you rightly put it, the strategic plan can also now be part of your business plan. So yeah, there is that difference that, with your strategy, you are pursuing a specific strategy for that which you want to attack. Let's say, for example, it's a market that you want to penetrate. What strategy are you going to be using? Is it going to be maybe, how are you going to be strategy competing in that? Are you going to be saying, for example, you are going to be you are going to be the low cost strategy, that you now want to apply. Now that will also be part of your business plan on your pricing strategy, marketing and sales plans. Yeah.
Thank you, Dominic. Michael, any more questions? Michael, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was saying we have no questions and still yet to be any more comments.
All right. Today's our last session. The next session, I think, is voluntary, but I'll have to get feedback from the training team. Again, the WhatsApp channel is still very much open. I want you guys to benefit as much as possible from all these interactions. We are learning from each other. We are creating new networks that will help our businesses prosper. So with those few remarks, I'll let my colleague Michael close for us the session.
All right. So as we draw close to our sessions, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to every one of you who has joined us today, and even from the beginning of the module to the third to the final session. Your participation and engagement, as well as contributions, have also enriched our discussion on developing the business plans for horticultural businesses. I'd also like to express my deepest appreciation to our speaker, Thomas, for sharing his expertise and wisdom and guiding us through the valuable insights that will undoubtedly inspire us in our future plans. A final thanks to every audience member for your involvement, for your questions, and also your enthusiasm. Your presence has also made this a success. So I pray that we carry forward with this knowledge and inspiration that we've garnered so far, and let it be like a seedling in our minds. Let us cultivate this learning culture and grow in our respective fields. So to conclude, I wish you all continued success and fulfillment in your journey ahead. Until we meet again, stay passionate and keep learning. Thank you all, and have a good night.